this is Cat's Diamond Painting. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've joined me here before. It is the 15th of April as I'm filming this, and that makes this my 5th anniversary of diamond painting. I think. It was some point in mid-April, I can't remember the exact date, so we're going with the 15th. So I like to celebrate this point every year with a diamond painting anniversary video, otherwise known as my diamond painting year in review. So if you're new here, you may be wondering why you're seeing this pop up on your newsfeed at this time of year, because most other creators, if not all, like to post this video at the end of the calendar year. I do it in April, mainly because I started this channel in the February, so I'd kind of missed out. And I really wanted to join in because I love watching these videos. They're one of my favorites to watch, so obviously I wanted to do it as well. So I did it to celebrate my 1st anniversary of diamond painting that April, and then I've just carried on from there really. So what have I got to show you today? I have got my highest number ever of finishes for this year. I will caveat that with the fact that there are really quite a few small projects this year. Some bigger ones though. I have got a few really big kits completed as well. But yeah, I'm going to take you through 19 finishes today. So I'm going to try not to dwell on them too much, but if you know me, you know I do like to rabbit on a bit, so I'll try and keep this shifting along speedily, but you know, bear with. Then I will take you through my whips. I think I have 5 currently, which includes 2 sets of minis. And yeah, we're gonna take a look at it all. Full disclosure, I have a love-hate relationship with filming this video every year because it is a mission dragging out all the diamond paintings that I've completed from all the different places I stashed them. But it is also really fun reviewing them with you and looking back at things that I maybe haven't looked at for a few months, because I'm not someone that puts many diamond paintings on my wall. I have 1 or 2 up usually, and that rotates over time. But I don't have a lot of wall space, and the diamond paintings that I love to work on and just bring me so much joy from my hobby aren't necessarily pieces of art that I would have on the wall of my family home where, you know, it's not just my taste to be considered. So most of them are buried in portfolios under the sofa, or in boxes in a cupboard if they're big ones that won't fit in the portfolio, or all around the place if they're little ones. So yeah, it's taken a bit of time to pull everything together, but I think I'm sorted now. So I started a logbook this year, so when I get on to my last few finishes, I will start referring to this just to pick out any notes that I want to go over. I'll try and remember to point out if there are separate post reviews for kits so that you can check those if you'd like to hear more detail on them than I'm going to be able to go through. And you'll notice that it was quite a slow start to the year. There wasn't an awful lot getting done in the beginning of my diamond painting year, so sort of April going into the summer last year, but the last few months I have been on it. I have been so obsessed with diamond painting again. You know, it's never stopped being a hobby that I enjoy, that I still do for pleasure. But yeah, there's been times when I do a lot less of it, and right now I am on it. So yeah, 2026 so far has been productive. Next year when I'm here doing this video, I want to have 20 plus finishes for you. So we'll see how we go with that. Anyway, so without further ado, let me show you my first finish for this period, which is Hot Cross-Eyed Bunny. So this is a super small kit. It's only 15 by 15 centimeters, but you may notice something going on in the bottom left-hand corner here. This is a kit that I had produced in collaboration with Diamond Art Studio, who are one of my favorite shops. And I actually sold this in my Etsy shop as part of a hamper, which included putty and a pen and tray from other collabs with small shops, washi tape too, a cover minder. Yeah, so this was the first in what I hope will eventually be a series, but at the moment there's only 2. You're going to see the other one in a little bit as well. So this is my adorable little Hot Cross-Eyed Bunny, named by my husband. Well, he wanted to call it Hot Cross Bunny, and then I was playing around with that with Sam, the owner of Diamond Art Studio, and we joked about what if he had cross eyes, and I was like, yes, let's go for it. And she was like, are you sure? Yeah. So this is Hot Cross-Eyed Bunny. He is adorable, super simple snack size project, but it has still got 3 frosty drills and 3 ABs. And yeah, he was genuinely a lot of fun to work on. Obviously I had to do one as an example, but I did really enjoy this little snack size project. So that is finish number 1 for this year. Right, finish number 2, and this one was on 14th of June, so I didn't have any finishes for a couple of months between Hot Cross-Eyed Bunny and this one. I was working on things, I just wasn't getting them actually completed. This is Running the Distance by the artist Dimitra Milan, who's one of my favourite artists that Diamond Art Club has ever licensed. I've always really enjoyed their pieces. I've said many times before, I'm not a huge people person in diamond paintings. I don't do a lot of diamond paintings that feature a person. I don't necessarily always go for ones that just feature an animal either, but when you put them together, somehow for me and my brain and the chaotic way it works, that is diamond painting magic. And that is very much the style that this artist goes for, along with some others that I really enjoy, like Katrina Coltez. She also does animal and people a lot. So I had this one in my stash since I think 2021. It was actually a pretty early purchase for me. I did at some point destash my original version and rebuy it with drills in a tighter grid, because as Diamond Art Club went through different iterations of drills, I discovered that I really enjoyed more recent ones. So this particular kit wasn't bought in 2021, but that's how it still was in my gems flow. This was like a game of 2 halves for me. I remember, when I'm working on a landscape style kit that is too big to fit on my easel in its usual size, then I turn it this way, and I just always work through them the same way, and it helps me to not be confused because I'm used to kind of turning the symbols around one way in my head. So I work through this way and then this way and so on. So what that means is that I did this half of the kit first, and I remember absolutely loving it and flying through that. And then I got to the middle and I got into a bit of a slump. And it did take me a really long time then to finish this second half. I think I have a post review for this kit. Not entirely sure. I think I do, but I probably went into that in more detail. And I honestly don't think there was any particular rhyme or reason for it, because I did still love the kit. This was more confetti heavy, there was a little bit less variety in colours, but it was still enjoyable diamond painting. I wasn't in the zone at that point. This is very much the part of the year when I just wasn't that productive. I wasn't fancying coming to my diamond painting as often. And I think the other thing is, I'm pretty sure I just sort of carried on plugging away at this one. Whereas normally if I feel a bit of a slump, I'll skip to another whip. And I didn't do that for some reason. So this one did take me quite a while. But I love it. I think it turned out really nicely. The drill quality is great. You can see through this sort of multi-placing sections here in the middle that the drills are really nice and even. There's very little gapping or unevenness going on there. I wasn't too sure about the black ABs in her eye. I feel like that looked a little strange, although I'm looking in the viewfinder and it's fine. It's just one of those things where in person it maybe looks a little strange. In the viewfinder it looks great. But yeah, this is probably one of my favourite pieces of art that Diamond Art Club has released from this artist. And yeah, I'm really happy that I got it done eventually, because it's gorgeous. It really is a stunning piece. Yeah. Okay, that was finish number 2. And finish number 3 takes me to a mini project. This was the dragon set of mini dazzles from Diamond Art Club. I worked on this at kind of the end of June. Oh, why have I got an empty one there? Actually, I'm not sure. Right, okay, that's just like a random sheet. So I did do it right when I put them in here. Yeah, I worked on this at the end of June going into July. Just had a couple of days working through these because I was in the mood for a mini project. Really enjoyed these. I think some of them came off a lot better than others. Like this one I think is really cool. That one I wasn't so keen on. This one was a little bit too snake-like for me, for my taste. This guy's just cute, bursting out of his egg. And then this one, again, just a little less, you know, dragon-like to me. But they are limited, of course, in mini dazzles with the number of pixels they have. So I think for the size they were working with, these were really fun. As ever with mini dazzles, they are all special drills. I think this set, I'm pretty sure this is just entirely fairy dust. Yeah, I don't see any ABs in it. So these are all fairy dust drills, which are just so pretty. And I do love working with them. So yeah, it was fun. It was a fun snack size project. That was what I was feeling like at this point in the year. And I enjoyed it. Okay, my next finish was on the 19th of July. This is Christmas Cabin by Donna Gelsinger. Let me start unraveling it. It looks like it's got really quite flattened in the box. I hope it's not. It's not perfectly flat. I'm pretty sure if I just left it laying, it would go flat, but I don't know why when I've rolled it up, it's got these ridges. Anyways, this was a piece that I had started the previous Christmas, knowing I probably wouldn't get through it because often with large kits, I do need to break them up and take my time over them. And yeah, true to form, I didn't. I put it away sort of early in the new year and thought, I'll get this out for Christmas in July. And that is exactly what I did. A rare example back then of me setting a diamond painting plan and sticking to it. And it is gorgeous. This is one of those kits that just, as soon as I saw the preview for it, I had to have it. I could see that the rendering was going to be spectacular, and it is. I mean, this tree, the way they have captured the artist's use of lighting, you know, of that moon glow on the snow on the tree, it is just rendering perfection in my opinion. And I love the kind of the blues of the sky, and this section is probably my favorite. But actually that bit had probably been done the previous Christmas, and when I picked this back up, I think I was a little over halfway, and it took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to get this second half done because, as you can probably see, there is a lot more confetti going on in this one. That side had the tree that had confetti, but then a lot of it was a bit more blocky, whereas this side we had all of these gorgeous holly leaves and other bits of tree around here, but they are so pretty. I am delighted with how this one turned out. I did think originally that we would put it on the wall for Christmas, and to be honest, we were lazy. We didn't really go all out with Christmas decorations in 2025 because we were going to be away anyway. We had Charlie, our new kitten, so we don't bother putting up a tree at the moment because we have 2 young cats that would tear it down. Xander would be fine. The younger cats would be absolute menaces. And we're never actually at home for Christmas. We always travel and see family. So yeah, we put up slightly more minimal decorations, and we just didn't get around to switching this out. I still have House on the Cliff on the wall from a couple of years back now, which is one of my all-time favorites still that I've completed. But yeah, maybe next year this one will go up on the wall because I do think it's stunning. I love Donna Gelsinger's work. I love that she really kind of specializes in these seasonal pieces. I think a lot of her best pieces are seasonal, and that tends to be what Diamond Art Club releases, to be fair. So maybe she is an artist that just generally does specialize in seasonal pieces. I don't know. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I think this one is beautiful, and it is always super satisfying to me to get one of these big ones done. This is 92.8 by 69.9 centimeters, and as I've already said, pretty confetti heavy. So yeah, it was a good one to tick off and get that sense of completion that I'd managed to get it done. And it's beautiful. I love it. It's definitely up there amongst my favorite diamond painting finishes, I think. Yeah, so that was number 4, I believe. Oh, it's well early to be losing track, Cat. I'm pretty sure that was number 4. Finish number 5, shockingly, takes us to September. This was the 24th of September. Like, what was I doing all summer? I don't even know what I was working on in the summer. Obviously, I had whips on the go. Like, I always have at least one diamond painting on the go. And even when I'm not doing much, like I was at this point, you know, I am still making progress on something. But obviously, it was pretty minimal because there's like been barely any finishes and we're already in September. So this is the second kit that I released as part of a hamper for my shop Crafting Cat UK. This was Count Buncula. Continuing the theme. We'd kind of weighed up what to do if I did more in the series, and I wasn't sure whether to go with different animals, but I really liked the idea of the bunny being a series. So if I'm able to come back to this in the future and release another hamper, I think you'll be seeing the bunny again. He is the same deal as last time, so it's 15 by 15 centimeters square drills. And we have got in this one 1 fairy dust and 3 ABs. Oh, got a little cat fur there. They do get everywhere. This one's well and truly stuck, and I think I keep missing it. There. So yeah, he's cute. This was one of my favorite parts. This was something that I requested in the render because it's a collaborative effort where I kind of say what sort of thing I'm thinking of, and then Sam is very creative and comes up with ideas, and then I say, oh, but what about this? What about that? And one thing was I really wanted him to have a jack-o'-lantern that was in a carrot. So that bit's definitely me. But yeah, I just love how the whole thing's different, you know. He's paler, he's got his little vampire teeth, he's got his slightly freaky eyes. Yeah, he's adorable but also slightly menacing. Just how a good Halloween piece should be. So there you go, that's Count Buncula. Next up, I have a Halloween house from the shop Lettuce Stitch. So this I completed on 17th of October because I just wanted to do another Halloween piece after doing Count Buncula, and because I wasn't getting that much done, I knew I wasn't going to be able to complete any of my much bigger pieces that I have in my collection. So I went for this one, and also because I wanted to try them, because this was actually a kit that Lettuce Stitch had sent to me to promote for them. So this was a kit that I received, well, not for free, in exchange for a video, but having done that, and if I accept items from a shop, I do vet them as thoroughly as I'm able to figure out if I'm happy to represent them before I go ahead. But they were new to diamond paintings, you know, I couldn't look for other people's reviews or anything like that. So I really did want to work on it and see what I thought of the quality. And considering this was one of, I think, about 5 diamond paintings that they originally released, I was pretty pleased with this overall. It was 30.5 by 30.5 centimeters, and definitely if they had been in a position to be more confident with their renders, this would have been better at bigger size, because like the little pumpkins at the bottom, they're a little bit blobby. It's okay from a distance, as these things usually are. But I feel like it still looks okay for the size. You know, they didn't do a bad job there at all. These were acrylic round drills, so it's one of not that many round drill kits I've worked on this year. Again, something I'm working on more as we're into the last part of the year. But yeah, at this point I hadn't done, I mean, I think this is the first round kit I've shown you, isn't it? So yeah, these were acrylic rounds, which are okay. You know, I do tend to avoid acrylic squares because of the quality issues I've always experienced when I've worked with them. Acrylic rounds can be really nice quality. The only thing I'd never like about them so much is that they are so shiny and glossy that I find whatever putty or wax or whatever you're using doesn't tend to seem to last as long before you have to change it. It was fairly confetti, which I guess is unsurprising when you're trying to fit a detailed picture into a small space. But I remember enjoying it kind of more than I thought I might. And I did think within the context of it being a very early release for this shop, I thought it was a good job. They have since released more. I recently, I think it was a couple of months ago now, showed a much bigger kit with resin square drills called After the Rain, which I am obsessed with. I love the artwork. I tried out a teeny tiny corner to see how the drills fit, and all seemed good. So that is definitely on my list of kits to get to as soon as I'm able to. But yeah, check them out. Lettuce Stitch. Also, always good to have a little bit more variety in the shops that I work from, because my reviews do tend to be very Diamond Art Club heavy, because that is where I get the majority of my kits. But I love to try other shops as well. So there you go, onwards. Next up, it is outside the sweet shop. This was my longest ever project. I started it in February, I believe, 2024, and I finished it in October 2025. So anyone who makes a habit of watching all my quarterly reviews was probably sick to the back teeth of seeing it, because it was in there as a whip for ages and ages and ages. But that is not a reflection of not enjoying it or anything like that. This is a project that I went into knowing I would take it really slow. I did originally hope I might get it done within a year, and then it just didn't happen. But yeah, I knew, I have learned about myself whilst I'm painting for 5 years. And I know that I can really enjoy a super high confetti piece, which this one was, but that I need to take regular breaks. And because this was the most confetti I had ever handled in a whopping 197 colours, I knew it would be a bit of a mission. I knew I was likely to risk burnout if I tried to work on it for too long at a time. So I basically did this baby row by row. I would do a row on my easel, then I would put it away until I next fancied it, you know, and sometimes that was a few weeks, sometimes it could be a few months, and that's really why it took so long. I did also do smaller rows than usual, because this was a piece where you could do a square that big and it might take you 3 or 4 hours in places, particularly these middle bits. They were super high confetti and that top area there. But when I was coming up towards finishing it, I ended up doing probably from about here-ish, all in one go. There was a bit more blocking in that area, but it was also just, you know, that sense that I'm nearing a finish and I can get this done now, and that will be really satisfying. It's 60 by 80 centimeters, so it's not a small kit, but yeah, normally I would be doing a 60 to 80 centimeter kit a lot quicker. It was fun though. It was a really fun challenge doing one of these max color kits. This really is the kit that kind of broke Diamond Art Studio through onto a bigger platform, I guess, within the diamond painting community. It was the one that helped a lot of people find them, and they've really gone from strength to strength since then. I do have a couple of other max color kits in my stash. I don't feel any particular inclination to get to them yet, mainly because like the kitting up and actually kitting down, I haven't kitted this down yet, it's a lot with one of these. And I'm also working on another high confetti piece with my comparison project, which you'll see later when I get to my whips. But yeah, it's gorgeous. The quality was good. I did have a lot of trash drills. I went on to my second trash drill pot. I usually use pots of the same size each time, and then that gives me a good, like, you know, yardstick for how much confetti there is in one trash there is in one project or another. So it was quite trash prone, but I had enough for all of the colours. You know what I always say, if I don't run out, I don't really have any complaints. Obviously it's nicer to deal with less trashy drills, but they are now transitioning through to better drills. One of my later completions from them that I'll show you, it has uniform facet drills, which I'm getting ahead of myself, but they were a significant improvement, and that was exciting. So that is outside the sweet shop. One of my biggest, most satisfying completions for this year. Really thrilled with this one. Okay, onwards. You'll note I've already given up on calling out what number they are because I've lost track. When I get to later on and my logbook's in use, I can get back to that. Anyway, the next kit is another new to me shop. This is from Pic Mondu. And this one is a kit that I completed as a favour for a friend, but then she said I could keep it. It's honestly not one I would personally pick. Nothing wrong with it, it's just not my personal style. I don't tend to do more cutesy style artwork or pieces that look, you know, particularly AI heavy. This one was 20 by 30 centimetres, so it was a nice size for testing a new company and finding out what they're like. It had square drills, which were pretty decent in quality, I believe. I think there was a fair bit of trash, but it wasn't too bad. There is some gapping in the lighter colours, which is pretty common. Can't really hold that against them because that's something you tend to get in a lot of places. Overall, I felt like the quality was pretty decent. I didn't think the colours quite hit the mark for the artwork. You can see there what it's supposed to look like. Well, a little tiny version of it. And yeah, it's a kind of, it's not too bad from a distance. Up close, there's a lot of kind of beige, grey, purple drills in this, which just make it look a little weird. I think even though it's a fairly simple image, it probably, like most things, could have benefited from being a bit bigger. You got all these small little items down the side that it's like, what are those? But it wasn't bad, yeah. I think it came in their advent calendar, so it was bound to be a kind of snack size project. Those were the sorts of things they were including there. But yeah, it was interesting to try a different company. There's not really a lot in terms of their catalogue that I look at and think I would choose to buy, so I don't know if I'm likely to try them again, but quality-wise, I wouldn't have any concerns about trying them again, particularly if it was a bigger piece. And I don't know, do they hand render? I'm not sure. I would say, I mean, it doesn't look quite as confetti prone as you might expect if it wasn't hand rendered, so I think it's at least been touched up. But anyways, that was my next one. Moving on. So now we are heading into December. That last one was actually completed in early November. But then at the end of November, I completed my monthly set because this was a set of mini dazzles that Diamond Art Club had sent me as a sneak peek at one point. And I completed them each month during 2025. So I did one at the end of each month ready for the next month. So I would have shown you some of these as a kind of whip in my last review. And I kind of consider them mini completions, but I haven't considered it a whole completion until I did the whole set. So that's why it's at this point in the video. So you have January, February, March, April is upside down, May, June, July, August, September. Sorry, I'm whizzing through these. But then I feel like a lot of people have worked on these themselves. October, November, and December. October is the one that I would say is probably the weakest. I think there's not a lot of definition and the pumpkins do kind of get lost a bit in the yellow field they're in. Overall, I would say these are really good for the size. And I think Diamond Art Club must have set themselves certain parameters that they're not going to go above size-wise for mini dazzles because they all consistently come on this size of canvas. I would love to see them do a version at a slightly bigger size. I'm working on a different set this year, which you'll see in a bit. And the amount of extra detail that can go into a picture at just a slightly smaller, a slightly bigger size is really nice to see. So yeah, I would love it if Diamond Art Club ever branched out and made, maybe not mini dazzles, they might call it something else, but like a slightly bigger version of mini kits that are still mini, small, snack size projects, but just have room for a little more detail. But as ever, I enjoyed it. I think this was all fairy dust again. I don't think there's any ABs. And yeah, they were really fun. This one I think is one of my favorites. So there you go. Next up, I'm showing you a mystery kit. This one is going to be Mystery Kit Christmas Festive by Dominic Davison. I'm not sure what number that is. Does it say anywhere? Oh, 87. So you may want to skip ahead if you do not want spoilers on this mystery kit. I kind of want to show it at this point in the video because chronologically, you know, I'm going through them and this is sort of my little Christmassy section. But yeah, do feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to see this. I will try and remember to put on the screen now what time you should skip to. And for anyone who wants to see it, I'm going in now. So I completed this on the 16th of December and this was an absolute joy. I would say that this is the kit that got me really back into diamond painting again, that got me out of the slump that I had been in. It is 97.8 by 69.9 centimeters, and there's a fair amount of confetti in there to slow you down. And yeah, I did this one in a little over a month. Oh, there's a drill missing there. I remember getting it out for the post review and seeing that, and apparently I didn't do anything about it because it's still there. Oh, it's here. That's exciting. Ta-da! It's complete again. Hopefully that will stick. I find with these snug grids that most shops really are aiming for now. They're wonderful and the drills don't pop necessarily, and it's super satisfying. But just occasionally I find that I haven't pressed the drills down enough, so they've not popped up once placed. I just haven't placed them properly. Yeah, so as I said, absolutely loved this. Did it pretty quickly for me. I do love a mystery kit. I try and do at least one a year, and I'm getting more and more obsessed with them and collecting them over time. Every time I do one, I feel like I've ruined, you know, normal diamond paintings for myself for a bit, and then I'm fine when I actually go back to them. But I just enjoy seeing the picture emerge from the background so much. What I tend to do as well is I do find out what the image is before I purchase, because I don't think there's any such thing as an artist where I would want absolutely every single one of their pieces. So I do check, but once I've done that, I don't necessarily check it again. So I feel like when I came to this kit, I had a rough idea in my head of what the image was, but I didn't have the specifics in my head, if that makes sense. Something I pointed out in my post review that I was very pleased about, the original said toys shop up there. And I don't know why, that really confused me, because Dominic Davison is a British artist. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't use AI. And here in the UK, we wouldn't say toys shop, we'd say toy shop. And I was concerned because I was like, that is actually going to annoy me enough that I'm going to have to try and edit it. And I don't know how I'm going to do that because I've never made edits to a diamond painting, and it's extra hard with, you know, with a mystery kit where you can't see it clearly. But they edited it. This is how it was charted. This is how it actually got produced. And I was so chuffed with that when I realised. There were some bits, like I remember this checkerboard on this house that really wound me up because it took so long. So there were some bits that went slow, but there were also parts of this that I whizzed through. Like there is quite a lot of blocking in the background and also down at the bottom here. So yeah, it was a perfect blend of confetti sections and blocking sections that meant I never got bored of it, and I was obsessed. I was just working on it every spare moment I could get during this period, and it was so much fun. I remember just really enjoying the kit, but also really enjoying how much I was enjoying diamond painting again. I think, you know, I was finding some good audiobooks, which always makes a big difference. And yeah, it was just, I have very fond memories of completing this painting for many, many reasons. But yeah, I am delighted with the finished result. I don't often go for ones like this that are like a scene. I don't know if you call it a landscape or not. To me, a landscape is more dialed out, you know, and you see more of a patch of scenery. But yeah, it's just a fun scene. Very, very Christmassy, very kind of nostalgic feeling. And I loved it. Okay, moving on. Okay, so as I said, I finished that kind of mid-December, and then I was still in the mood for doing some Christmassy bits and bobs, but it was also kind of late in the season to start another big project. So the next thing I did was a set of mini dazzles that came in last year's Diamond Art Club advent calendar. So I've got a Yule log. I think it's just a set of 6. Actually, most of them are saying that. I've got some sweets. I'm not sure which way around that's supposed to be. Some figgy pudding, that's milk and cookies, isn't it? Some eggnog and a gingerbread house. So these were fun. I did say there was a set of mini dazzles in the previous year's advent calendar, and I loved those, so that was one of the big draws. I didn't like this year's set as much. Some of that was context, like things like Well, figgy pudding, I think, is what we just call Christmas pudding. But like the eggnog I mentioned in the video at the time, like it is sort of a thing in the UK. Like I knew what it was, I could identify it. But we really don't have it much. I feel like it's more of a US thing, which is obviously completely understandable because DAC is a US company. It just meant it had less relevance for me, and you know, the images maybe weren't as much my first choice, but I did acknowledge at the time they've done several Christmas sets now between 2 advent calendars. They're usually releasing 1 or 2 sets each year. They're gonna run out of good Christmas images to put in these mini dazzles, and I do acknowledge that. So I did really enjoy these at the same time. I didn't like them as much, I suppose, because I'd done a set of mini dazzles from the advent calendar 2 years on a run. I kind of just naturally compared them a little bit. So yeah, it was fine, just nothing special. And my next finish, which I started, I think, just before I went away for Christmas and then finished on the 29th of December, was just one last really nice snack size project with a Christmassy theme. So this one is Season's Greetings, can't talk, Season's Greetings Tree. And this actually came in the 2024 Diamond Art Club Advent Calendar. There were 2 mini paintings in that Advent, which I really liked. And I did one of them, I think, in 2024, and then this one I came back to this year. The ones from this year's advent calendar, again, just they weren't so much my personal taste, so I did end up destashing those to people who were after them. But this one I found fun. I was daunted, as you can imagine, by all of the white colour blocking. This kit, however, was the one that really brought it home to me how much Diamond Art Club have improved their grid for round drills. It is so much easier than it was. You know, I don't remember how many I was multi-placing at a time with this, but you could do it, and there weren't big gaps and awkward bits and, you know, symbols showing underneath, which drives me mad because then I spend so much time meddling and trying to fix it. A little bit of fluff in there. Unsurprising, living in this house with so many cats. But yeah, it was fun. It was a pretty quick and easy project. The tree had a bit of confetti, but it wasn't particularly intense. And then obviously the blocking areas, whilst not being the most fun, did go by quickly. And because the piece overall is small, it's only 22.8 by 33 centimeters. I didn't have time to get overly fed up with the blocking. And it was just fun to have enough Christmas finish. There's something about Christmas that really makes me want to just fit in all the projects I can. Whereas other seasons, I might be happy to just do one that represents that season. I just like having some small Christmas projects to do alongside a bigger one, which I've already shown you. So that was my last finish of 2025. Next up, we're going into finishes from 2026. And I can start to give you a little more information because my logbook kicked in. Okay, next up. On the 1st of January, I finished Laundry Black Cats. So actually that period back in the summer where I was saying, what was I doing? I have no finishes. I was working on things. I started this in, I think, August. But it was one that I found I had to do in a few goes. It's not a huge kit. It's 55.6 by 55.6 centimeters. It's got the new round grid. So all of that side of thing was fine. It was a bit samey with this background. I am someone who gets bored easily. So much like with a high confetti piece, I'll tackle it in chunks. With this one, I broke it up into chunks so I didn't just get too bored and burned out of it. So I actually started this in July, and I think I probably did it over 3 or 4 goes of doing, you know, a row or a couple of rows. But then when I came to it, sort of at the end of December, I did do a couple of rows quite quickly to get it done. This one was a Black Friday release in 2024. And I remember that I was like, you know, ironing out my list of what I wanted to buy. And I had completely missed the preview for this one. And I just saw it at the last minute before I went to sleep the night before. Bearing in mind here in the UK, for me to make my purchases, I have an alarm set for just before 5 a.m. And I saw it was like, oh, that one too. And it did sell out really quickly. So yeah, that was lucky. This is by the artist Lyubka. And Diamond Art Club has released several from this artist now. I have mostly abstained because I knew from my experience with this one that although I really enjoyed it, it wasn't a style where I was going to want to do them all because of the sameness. I have two others by this artist in my stash right now. One that came in a mystery box, which I really love, Cat Schemes, I think it's called. And then I also bought a recent release called Troublemakers that came out because that one was the same style of artwork, all the fun of the little kittens and this wonderful cartoon style, but it actually had a few more things going on in it. So I feel like it will be a bit less samey. What else did I say about this one? So this one was my 71st diamond painting finish overall. At this point in the year, I hadn't started saying how many, you know, in this year. Not much trash, beautiful sparkle of DAC rounds. And I am so enjoying this year the fact that I've got over my slight aversion that I had to round drills for a while. Because the sparkle on them is amazing. Now I feel like I can place them without getting frustrated and having to, you know, stop and line them up again properly every moment. It's so nice having them kind of opened up to me again. Like, I never completely stopped buying round drills, but I was definitely not leaning towards them that much. Oh, and I also had on my notes that this was the first kit that I tried properly using the perforated cover that DAC includes. If you don't know what I mean, for the past couple of years, DAC has been sending us kits with a cover that has perforated lines going through it. And this one, I think, is the first one I worked on that had the perforated lines and they had colour on them so that you could see them easily. And I tried working with them at the start, and I don't know if it's me being just too set in my ways. I mean, it almost certainly is, because I know the vast majority of people seem to absolutely love the perforated covers, but it doesn't work for me. I prefer my old way. I just get too like obsessed with it not lining up properly. So like if it's at a slight slant, you know, do I go under a bit of the cover? Do I leave a bit exposed? I found it hard as well, like ripping them neatly as I was going along so that I wouldn't leave too much exposed for a while. And even though I know you can leave the glue exposed for a very long time before it dries up, it's more things like, I don't know when I'm next going to roll up the kit and put it in the box, and then maybe that little exposed bit of glue is going to have some of this backing material against it and it might spoil it. So it caused too many things that I needed to work around for me. So I went back to my usual way of sectioning the covers, but it was good to try it. So let me put this one away and come back to you with the next one. My next finish was Gull Point Lighthouse. I finished this on the 16th of January, and I originally started it in August of last year, but I bought this one back in 2023, I think. Yes, January 28th, 2023 this was released, and I remember it was a limited edition. It was at that time when Diamond Art Club was labelling some kits as limited editions so that you knew you only had one chance at them. They stopped doing that because they felt like it was encouraging scalpers, you know, people buying up kits knowing that they would be in limited quantities. But it was quite good to know. However, I do remember that as soon as I saw this one, and I remember watching the sneak peek for it as well, I definitely wanted it. So it wasn't a case of buying it just because it was a limited edition or anything. So I started this one, as I said, in August, and I think I got maybe up to about here. So I did this side, and this one for me was like a landscape for people who don't like all the confetti of landscapes, because there was confetti when we got over to this bit, but looking at the overall picture, it's a lot more simple and in some areas very blocky compared to your usual landscapes. It's also 80 by 60 centimeters, so it's just a little bit smaller than a lot of them can be. And you can see the sky in that section. It's just huge blocks of color. And then all of these areas were reasonably quick to work up. And it was only really this section when you got into proper landscape confetti. So yeah, I really loved this one. There were a couple of things that I looked at up close and thought, maybe if they'd rendered this slightly bigger, that could have looked better. Like I said in my notes as I was going through it, that this drop off from the cliff into the water looked a bit stark. But then as soon as I did a post review and I saw it from a distance, you know, the view in the viewfinder that you're looking at now, I was like, no, hang on, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, this one was an absolute beauty. Really enjoyed it. Always nice to get a proper landscape in the mix, and it was a lot of fun. Did I have any other comments? I did say the drills were very trashy and gappy on this one. Towards the end, I was left with a lot of trash. It was a bit slow going picking them out. This was quite early on, I think, in terms of one of Diamond Art Club's drills transitions, and they were still working on tightening up the grid properly. And yeah, it wasn't the best quality in terms of drills, but that's relative to DAC, and they do, for me, tend to be better in quality than a lot of other shops I've tried. So, you know, relatively speaking, it was still a good quality canvas. Next up, we have another of my favourite completions for the year. This is Steadfast Heart. Now, this one was, at the time I started working on it, in sort of the middle of January, I think, and then I finished it on the 1st of February. This was, at that point, the oldest kit in my stash. And one of my goals for 2026 was to do the Refresh Your Stash challenge. If you've heard of the channel Lizette Crafts and Tells, she tends to do a challenge for herself each year and sort of shares that with everyone. And this one really took off, and I feel like a lot of us have thought, yeah, that's a good idea. And this is something that I have been loving this year, having the... I mean, I still get to choose the kits I want to work on because I have multiple whips on the go at once, but at least one of them is always going to be the oldest kit in my stash on a rolling basis. And I do quite enjoy having the element of choice taken out for that and just saying, well, that's going to be the next kit because that's what's my oldest. This is another Dimitra Milan, the same artist as Running the Distance that I showed you earlier, so you can see person and animal. And this tiger is just spectacular. Love it. This was another one that I feel like helped me progress in my issues with round drills, because this one was older. I had bought this one, well, I originally bought the kit in 2021. I did destash to get better drills and bought it again in March 2023. But the round drills at that point, they'd moved away from the kind of acrylic feel drills that had the quite smooth tops. They were much more faceted and I much preferred them, but they hadn't done much to sort the grid yet. So placement wise, I thought this was going to really drag because I knew I wouldn't be able to multi-place many at a time. And I remember in the first square thinking, oh, I've made a mistake. This is going to get annoying. And then what I actually did that was quite a learning curve for me, this kit, and it sounds obvious, but for me apparently wasn't before this, was I just ended up embracing the fact I can't multi-place as many drills as I would like to. So whereas with a modern round drill kit, I might place 7 or 8 drills at a time, with this one I found I could only place 4, maybe 5, before I had issues starting to need to kind of stretch the drills or like realign them after I'd placed them. And I just went with it and I placed 4 drills at a time. And you know what? Turns out placing 4 drills at a time and being able to place them neatly how I want them to be is so much quicker than faffing around straightening drills. So I ended up doing this whole kit, which is 56 by 74 centimeters in just a couple of weeks, which for me is a good speed. And as you can see, it's got, I would say there are several small areas of blocking, but overall it's quite a confetti heavy piece. Yeah, and I got it done and I really loved it. I thought the artwork was beautiful. I'm just going to say again, the render on this tiger is spectacular. I thought the whole thing was gorgeous. And then I also had that satisfaction of feeling like I had learned something with this one that would help me to enjoy other kits like this in my stash more in the future. And yeah, coming to a more modern round drill after this one is like, wow, this is amazing. So yeah, that was gorgeous. Loved it. So that one was my third finish in 2026. And finish 15. At this point, I did the maths in my logbook. Finish 15 for the 2025 to 2026 review period that I am now showing you. So that means we're nearing the end. I only have 4 more to show you. This next bit's fun because I've got a few kits here that I haven't done post reviews for either yet, or I'm not going to because they're a bit smaller and don't really feel like that would be worthwhile. So yeah, this one, my 16th finish for this review period, is Polar Bear by Katie Lipscomb, it says here, but I feel like it's Lipscomb usually. I say usually. I think they've maybe done a typo there and her name is Katie Lipscomb, if I've remembered right. So this is a 55.8 by 42.8 centimetre square drill kit from Diamond Art Club. I actually received this for a sneak peek back in around February 2025. And I pulled this one out just because I fancied something bright and colourful and fairly small to get another finish in. When it gets to these first few months of the year, I have to say I do have it in my head. Can I get a few more finishes in ready for this review? So it's a good opportunity to get through some smaller kits and get some finishes done. I really enjoyed this. I did it in about 12 days, finished it on the 15th of February. So this one I was able to just work on. I didn't need to do the sideways thing that I mentioned. I did find that there was quite a lot of need for horizontal multi-placing, and to be honest, if I'd done it the other way, that would have been the same because the swirls go in different directions. And this, it's taught me a bit about my posture, because I've mentioned before that I have fibromyalgia and I'm always having to manage that and be very conscious of how I sit and my workspace to make sure that I'm not aggravating my issues when I'm diamond painting. And one of the things I've learned is I have to be really conscious of, you know, sitting fairly straight and relaxed and back in my chair. And anytime that I have like super intense confetti or horizontal placing, which I'm not as confident with as vertical placing, I find myself leaning forward and my shoulders get all tense, and yeah, it causes me pain. So I don't know that there's much I can do about it because that's to do with my vision, but I am very aware of it. And I just realized because I'd come off of doing other paintings and not really had much bother, and I did this one and I was getting all tense in my shoulders and neck again. I'm thinking, what's different with this one? And then I realized, so yeah. It's a learning curve. It had 62 colours, which included 2 ABs and 3 fairy dust drills. There were loads of fairy dust in this one, if I remember right. What were my comments? Yeah, so I said fairy dust drills made up half of a lot of the sections. So I'd work on it in a section, and I tended to do the special drills last in the section. And yeah, it often felt like I'd barely done any other drills before I was down to just fairy dust drills. Like all of the polar bear, all of this white is fairy dust. So yeah, that was fun. Like I said earlier, I love me a fairy dust drill. There were a lot of misshapen drills with uneven sides, like a kind of parallelogram and tabs. So yeah, it was quite trash prone, but I didn't run out of anything. And there were several very small patches of slippy glue. This is something I've noticed. And I know there's been a lot of commentary recently about slippery glue in general. I haven't yet got to a kit where there's large patches of slippery glue that are problematic. What I've had in several kits is like the space of 1 or 2 drills is slippery. So you go to put your drill down in that space and it's a pain and you can't really do it very easily. But overall it's not a problem because you can just place drills around it to make like a hole for it, and then it's easy to get it to come off in it. So yeah, I noticed that there weren't any major issues with it, and I loved the rendering at this size point. Always nice to have a bit more of a snack size project. So that was Polar Bear. Next up, my 5th finish this year, my 17th finish for this review period, and actually my 75th diamond painting finish ever is Parenting from Diamond Art Studio. I have put up a post review for this kit and it's fairly recent, so I'm not going to dwell on this one. other than to say I absolutely loved it. I did this one in about 10 days and it's, where is it, 50 by 50 centimeters, so it's a pretty moderate sized diamond painting, but still 10 days for me, it's pretty good. Tells you I was into it. It's adorable. What can I say? I love this artist's work. Delighted that she's trusted Diamond Art Studio to produce her artwork in paintings. And yeah, I'm definitely stalking their page for more releases from her. They did actually put up a post quite recently inviting people to basically check out her social media. Her being Kim Haskins, by the way, should have mentioned her name. And, you know, let them know which ones they would love to see in diamond painting. And obviously they can't guarantee they'll be available, but it gives them some steer on which ones to do next. And oh my goodness, she has such lovely ones. I suggested one that reminded me of Charlie, so, you know, fingers crossed. But yeah, this is adorable. Limited colour palette for me. I don't often do kits with as low as 37 colours, so I wondered if that would get boring, but I clearly did not get bored. This is the one that I mentioned when I was showing you outside the sweet shop, where I noticed that big drill improvement. So you can see, particularly down in this section here, where there's a lot of that dark blue and black, that they are uniform facets. I think they have 15 facets. And yeah, I reached out to the shop and they confirmed to me that they are indeed transitioning to those. So this one I picked up in June of last year. I don't think they've completely transitioned yet, but if you were buying a kit that had been manufactured more recently, you might see slightly more colours. This one had, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 colours or so with the new style of facets, the new uniform facets, and they were a delight to work with. Much less trashy, and just, I love that uniform look. The only colour I remember having a real issue with was one of the two shades that makes up this white area. I think it was the paler of the two, the more white one, and that was quite trashy. That was the older style of drills with mixed facets. And yeah, that one slowed me down a little bit, which was a shame because it was in a colour blocking section, but there's always one or two colours, aren't there? It's not a big deal. Love the way they handled the whiskers. Love the fact this is when they were starting to really fully hand render kits, and I'm a sucker for hand rendered paintings. So yeah, loved it. Really fun. Go get it. Sorry, just lost my pace in my book. I have 2 more finishes to show you, and they were both finished within the last week, which is rather satisfying. So first of all, I have for you Weekend in Paradise. This was my next Refresh Your Stash Oldest Kit in Your Stash kit that I started after finishing Steadfast Heart. The challenge I've set for myself with this is to always have one on the go. So when I finish one, which I finished Steadfast Heart at the start of February, my challenge then was to start my next one within that month. So actually I had a fair bit of time there because I finished Steadfast Heart right at the start of the month, but I got a good chunk of it done within February. Whereas this month I finished this and it's the middle of the month, so I actually need to start my next one within the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna have a lot of whips on the go, but it's okay. I'm embracing the chaos this year. Anyways, this is a 93 by 70 centimetre painting. I did it over 2 goes, starting on the 19th of February and finishing on the 11th of April. And I would say overall it took me about 4 weeks of diamond painting time. I got this one back in 2023. And yeah, it's just, oh, this is gorgeous. I do love Abraham Hunter, the artist of this one. I have several from this artist, and he's definitely one to look out for me. This one, the colours are just magical. Love, love, love it. I would also say, much like Gold Point Lighthouse, for a landscape, the confetti wasn't too intense. You got trees, they were slow going. This bit was a bit slow. There are other patches of confetti, but there is a lot of sky. Usually sky in landscape is the relief from confetti, and there's quite a lot of it. So yeah, it went reasonably quickly, I would say. It definitely was noticeable that this was at a different point in Diamond Art Club's drill evolution. Like, the square drills were very nice, but it was a bit gappy. Like, nothing that you're going to probably see from your distance, but up close on a light pad, you could see that there were gaps, and it did mean sometimes I had to do a bit of straightening work. But it wasn't terrible, you know, it varied from one colour to another, and some bits would be slower, other bits would go fine. One of the things that I really enjoyed was, because of my whole working sideways on an easel thing, it felt like different sections of painting all the time. So I'd have my like blue under the water section, then I'd go into all the purpley reds and oranges, and then in the middle it would be even more broken up. You know, you'd have under the water, the hut, the tree, the sky. So it felt like I was constantly changing what I was working on in a way that was really just engaging, you know. I didn't really get bored working on this at all. I'm on the fence whether I'm going to do a full post review of this one. I don't know. I don't have a ton to say about it that I haven't already just said quickly now. But at the same time, I kind of did want to do post reviews for all of my Refresh Your Stash kits. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see it, and I'll definitely try and do it. If I don't get comments saying that, I don't know. I may end up doing it anyway. We shall see. But yes, it was beautiful. Really happy with it. And I am very happy that despite my number of 19 this year being made up of lots of quite small kits, there are 3 really big kits in the mix as well. So yeah, very pleased with this. And that brings me to my last finish for this review period, my 19th kit completed since mid-April last year. This is Pansy Basket by Gina Jane Lee from Diamond Art Club. This is a kit that I received earlier this year as a sneak peek. I think it may have been a first look, but regardless, I received it that way. And yeah, I said in the sneak peek that I really wanted to work on this in the spring this year, and yeah, I was feeling it. Something that I don't think I mentioned in this video, although I have mentioned it elsewhere, is along with my Refresh Your Stash goal, another goal that I had is to keep going with the round drills, to keep that momentum and get me really comfortable with them again. So I also try to always have a round drill kit on the go. So having just finished this one, I will also be kitting up another round drill by the end of the month. Steadfast Heart was great because it ticked off both Refresh Your Stash and the round drill requirement, whereas like most of the kits in my stash, particularly from that era, are square drills, so that's not going to happen too often. But it's fine. I have my next round drill kit selected, and I'm just going to get it kitted up and lay a few drills this month at least, just to get it going. But yeah, it's going to be a beauty. Yeah, so this was really fun. It had a lot more confetti than I anticipated, I think because I associate round drills with maybe more simple designs that just don't need as much confetti a lot of the time. But with this one, I just think round drills was such a good choice because you get all that beautiful round drill sparkle. I'm not sure with the lighting in here today how much I can show you, but it is gorgeous. It is really, really pretty. Lots of special drills, particularly in all these flowers. You might be able to see some ABs and fairy dust mixed in. You know, in many cases, the flowers are mostly special drills, which is always fun. And then I really love the colour of the sky, the blue drills set against all the greenery and the butterfly. It's lovely. And it is nice to work on sneak peek kits. As you've seen, there were a couple from this year that I think that came from sneak peeks. And someone did ask in a video recently in the comments if I ever work on the kits I'm sent. And I felt kind of bad that they maybe had the impression that I didn't, because of course I do. I can't work on all of them, but you know, I am genuinely enthusiastic about the kits I show you. So yeah, I really enjoyed getting this one done and being my last finish for this review period. So yeah, 19 kits. Let's go for 20 plus next year, says she, and then she'll probably lose momentum. But the goals that I have for myself this year are really, I feel like, keeping me honest. You know, they're really keeping me on it because I want to keep going with these goals. I want to get my oldest kits ticked off. I want to keep getting through my round drill stash. I'm also now working on my custom kit, which I'll show you in a little bit. So yeah, it's a good period for me with diamond painting. I'm having a lot of fun. So that is all of my finishes. I think I'm going to take a little break and have my lunch because my stomach's starting to rumble and you don't need to hear that. And then I will come back and show you my whips. Okay, I've had some lunch. The tummy rumbles are gone. So it is time to show you my whips. I have 5 I can't remember if I said this at the start of the video or not. So yeah, I've got 5 to show you, but 2 of them are just mini kits. So it's not going to take very long, particularly because I'm definitely not going to dwell on these 2 because these are for my comparison project. Excuse me. Had to pause and clear my throat there. These are for my comparison project. So there's a whole playlist for these basically. If you haven't come across it before and you're interested when I show you these in a moment, there is a whole series of 4 or 5 videos showing you the different stages of working through these and the comparison between them. The short version of a long story is that I have 2 different versions of the same artwork from the same shop, both in square drills, same size. One has been hand rendered, one is that shop's hybrid render style. The shop, by the way, is Jada Gem Shop, which is largely computer generated with potentially some human touch-ups. Yeah, so let me show you quickly. This is the hybrid render style. So from a viewing distance, it looks pretty decent. It is pretty heavily pixelated and very, very high in confetti close up. There are aspects which I prefer in this one. I think in many ways it is more faithful to the original, particularly in terms of the colouring used. But is it as fun to work on? For me, probably no. I think I'm always going to prefer hand-rendered kits where there might be confetti. There often is in the styles of artwork that I choose, but it's more intentional and feels a bit more kind of purposeful, like it's going to get to the goal better. I know that it always ends up, oops, sorry, knocking my camera. I know that it basically always ends up fine with this, but I don't like not really knowing what I'm working on as I'm working on it. Here is the hand-rendered version. So they've got a bit big to show you both side by side, but you can probably see there is quite a difference. There are definitely aspects of this which I feel have been rendered a little harshly for the artwork. The artwork has a quite soft, dreamy vibe, and you've got some rather harsh outlining, you know, things like the cat and his face I'm not such a fan of. Some of the colours aren't that close to the original, but in terms of a diamond painting project, I would have to say that I'm enjoying this one more. I tend to work on this one first because I want to get the confetti out of the way. And then I was worried when I started this project that it would feel samey. It feels like I'm working on a completely different project when I get round to this one. So that is those. One more update on these coming at some point. I'm not sure if I'll feel like it in May, but hopefully by June. I'm trying to show you, but it's all curly from being in the box. So I've only got this much to go. So yeah, I'm just going to do one more update on these and then we'll be done. So that's those. Next up, some mini kits. Let me bring you in a bit. So this is this year's monthly mini set. I mentioned earlier that I did DAC's version last year, and this year I'm working on a different one. So these are from Forever Young. I didn't do a full unboxing on these, but I did go through them all in my plans for 2026 video, if you do want to check that out. It's funny, I am really enjoying these. The diamond painting experience isn't amazing, but I'm really loving the finished products, and that's enough to motivate me. So this is January. Then we have February. That one's not one of my favorites. I think that's one of the weaker ones in the set. March, I'm not sure. To me, this is quite an April scene, but they had it as March. It says on the back. So, you know, I do what I'm told. And then this is April, and this is in a frame because that's what I do. I work on everyone. No, I work on one each month for the month ahead. And then I have it on my office desk in a frame. So yeah, that's what I enjoy doing with them. So I said about the experience, what I've found, and I have since seen commentary from various people who've had a similar experience, the glue is not ideal with these. It feels like it's not super sticky. I often like place drills and they come away still on the pen and I have to push down again and again and again. But at the same time, somehow, somewhat contradictorily, is that a word? I don't know. once they're down, they don't budge. You can't like slide them around if you've slightly put them in the wrong space. So it's a weird one. Someone commented on one of my videos where I showed them before, or mentioned them in some way, that they thought it was maybe the special kind of glue that there was a shop called Treasure Studio Art, or Studios Art. They closed quite a while ago, I think. I never got to try them. They had a glue called mounted glue, which no one else had. And this person who maybe had tried them said to me that they thought it was like that. I'm not sure. I don't find it the best experience to work with. I found it very irritating with this one. So for February, I decided to just go over it with dot stick. I didn't try and remove the old glue at all because I didn't want to damage, you know, the printing underneath. So I just went over it with dot stick. I then found it was a little tricky because the card didn't lay completely flat, so the dot stick kept wanting to run over the sides. Dot stick, by the way, is just extra glue that I have on hand in case I ever have a kit that doesn't have a sticky patch. So I did it all over, and then so I had to do the border with some washi tape, which I don't usually bother with. And actually, it's a shame because I do like the white look in my white frame, but the glue would run everywhere. So it was a better diamond painting experience. It was easier to place them, but because of all that hassle and like hours and hours of going back and like removing the glue around to make sure it hadn't all run away from the middle, and just the edges were super gluey and all of that, it was a hassle. It wasn't worth it. I decided like it's okay, like the glue is workable. So the next 2 months I've just done it as is, and I think having experimented and tried a different way and found it to not be better, I've come to terms with it now and it's not bothering me as much. But yeah, just something to be aware of. The only other thing with these is I use a light pad. I'm quite reliant on my light pad just because I always use it, so it's what I'm used to it. These are on quite thick card, so you cannot see through them. So I have to do these without a light pad, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. And regardless, as I said, I'm enjoying the images so much, and I feel like I've got a much prettier image for my desk. So it's fine. It's fine. We're going with it. I'm going to keep going with them. And then hopefully next year I will find a different set to try. Next up, back in January, I started my first ever paint gem set, the Space Edition. I had it for a while and I just really wanted to try them. And I also thought it'd just be fun to have these on the go. So when I finish a project or want to take a little break from a project, I've got a really mini project on the go. So I've kept them all in the baggies. I didn't bother to kit up. And I've done 3 or so of them. And I have, I think, is it 10 in here? Whoops. Yeah, 10. So these are the ones I have done. And it says on the back what they are. So that is the Eagle Nebula. I'm working through them in order so that I don't end up, because if I don't do them in order, then I'll do the ones I like most first, and then I'll be left with all the ones I don't like as much. So I'm just doing them in order. The Eagle Nebula, Andromeda, that one's cool. An asteroid, and yeah, that is it. I've only done 3 so far. They're fun. I'm enjoying them. It's my first experience of paint gem. The drills are really nice and shiny. Little bit trash prone, not too bad. No special drills. They're surprisingly confetti heavy considering how small these are. They're not as quick as you might think to do. They have this sort of papery, stiff canvas feel, so they don't have like the luxury finish that a lot of other mini kits do. But yeah, it's fun to have them on the go. So I'll gradually chip away at those and just sort of see how long it takes me to do them. Okay, one last whip to show you. My last whip, I'm taking the lazy option and showing it to you still on my easel, because it's only just gone on there, frankly. I only started this a day or 2 ago. I wasn't able to do much yesterday. Frustrating. So yeah, hopefully going to get a lot more of this done this evening. Well, I say a lot more. It's not going to be a lot more because this is very confetti filled. This is my Treasure Quest custom kit. Treasure Quest prize is to get a custom kit. That's the Diamond Art Club rewards scheme. I mean, there were words there, they didn't make sense, but hopefully you caught my drift. Anyway, this is my custom kit, and as you can see, all I have done, actually I think I have that blocked off. All I have done is this very little section here. It is super confetti filled. That difference where they're not hand rendering, wow. So it is, as I suspected, going to be a really slow going project, but that's okay. That is what I was expecting from the off. I think I'm going to do one row and then I will switch because I need to get my next refresh your stash kit going, which is going to be a big one. It's, well, not big as in size, but big as in a special one, because it's a kit that was actually in my 10 paintings I can't bring myself to work on because then they'll be over video last summer. So that's All Things Become Love, and that's going to be kitted up very soon. And then my next round kit is going to be Polar Stroll by Deborah Malcolm from a recent wave of mystery boxes. So exciting plans. I'll get this row done. I'll get a start made on both of those this month, and then yeah, we'll see what May brings. So that is the end of my 5th diamond painting anniversary review video. Yeah, I dread to think how long this is going to be when I get this footage uploaded on my laptop. I think it's going to be a long one. I know I said at the start I would try not to rabbit on too much, but hey, it's not a strong suit of mine. So if you're still here, I assume you're okay with that. Thank you very much for watching. I said in a recent video, I have tended to do quarterly review videos just because I wasn't diamond painting that much. So I wanted to always make sure I had plenty to say when I did a video. I may start doing them more frequently. It just depends how I go. I think I might keep it a bit more fluid. So if I've done a lot in a month, I might do a month in review. Maybe I'll do it every 2 months. The maximum I'll leave it is 3 months. But yeah, I'm going to keep that more fluid from now on and see how we get on, because I do like looking at them all. And I think people tend to like watching these videos. So yeah. That is it from me today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed taking a look at these all with me. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like on it. And if you're not yet subscribed, I'd love to have you stick around, so please consider doing that too. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye.